very powerful moon. My question number one, he asked more than one question. How do I replicate this thick, I added the thick in there, dude's soft feeling in his art and rendering? And then he sent these references, which I'll have to double check, just making sure everything is in the right place. Yeah, maybe I can use this as my Twitch thumbnail if I let it stay here for long. Kidding. Yeah, so how do I replicate this dude's soft feeling in art and rendering? Dude's soft feeling. Okay, so this is gonna be a short one because the answer is quite simple. It's three things. Three very simple things. Let me crop. Just one image is enough, really. Let's just. Hey, what's up, Skeleton? Let's just have one image here. All right, it's more than enough. Blah. So it's three things. Let's draw a focal point on this image from the beginning, and I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. All right, so let's grab a line art. I mean a normal brush, and I'll draw one area while I explain how to make the soft feeling. So, oh wait, before I actually do that, I need to make it a. Actually no, this background is fine. I was gonna make a light gray background, but this is okay. So, let's draw one of the soft feelings here. All right. So the very first thing, it all starts in the line art. It's not just a rendering thing, it's even the way he draws. He avoids a lot of hard edges in pretty much everything. Even his spikes are sort of rounded. I'll actually look here. His spikes are sort of like they round up, so it begins even with that. So anything that he draws always has a curve to it, or a soft sort of ending as well. So let me just draw that. There you go. All right, and then so. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it. That's it. Pack it up, boys. Now, no matter how sharp something seems to be, there's always a little bit of a curve to it, making it look soft, even from the line art point. Another thing to keep in mind is that this eraser isn't good, first of all, but is that when one shape crosses the other, let's say when the boob leaks out of the right here, when the boob leaks out of the bra, or this is not a bra. There's a mosquito in front of me. It's not a bra. This is a very short shirt. Sort of leaks out of it. When these two shapes overlap, I'll like overdo here. You gotta make sure that even this area gets rounded. So I'll omega fucking zoom in there. So instead of having this sharp shape, which is like that, not this, but like this sort of shape, even then he rounds it up. So I'll erase that. I'll round that shape in there, and I'll continue to draw the boob leakage. Does that make sense? So it's a very small, it goes all the way from big shapes to the smaller shapes, where he just rounds everything, creating that sort of soft feeling. You see in there what's happening in that area. It's happening here in the corner of this boob leakage as well, where it rounds in like so. That is step one to his sort of art style. It all begins with the way he draws and his line art. Now let me continue with, let me just draw a little bit here. There you go. Just do this extra little spaces. Okay, so the next thing is the way he actually renders. And there's two more points. The second obvious thing is his render, but I would actually consider the subliminal messages. The next the next thing, important thing, to be the colors. So the way he uses colors is very like everything is kind of like not desaturated, but like light, you know, sort of like beige kind of tones to it. So for example, let me quickly fill in the fill in here the shape. Blah. There you go. And I'll show you what I mean is that everything tends to have these sort of cream colors to it. Like even the blue is a little warm, the red is the same, and it tends to not be too saturated, and that helps with the softness, the softness look of it. That's pretty much the answer, but I'll demo the what I just said here. All right, no need to make it like perfect, just a little bit here and there. Okay, this is good enough. So literally every color he uses, even the white, tends to be a bit towards yellow, brown, like light brown, like peach, sort of undertone to it, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna shift my color wheel around the warm. I'd say like around here. It's sort of seems to be okay. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, maybe a little bit more brighter. There you go. I think mine is a little warmer than his, but it still demonstrates the soft feeling that we were talking about. So let's do part of her shirt. This is an anime shirt. Anime shirts are very, they're hard to make, man. So they always need to be small. I mean, for women at least, tends to be the case. Anime world is just, it's stuff out there to make actual shirts. That out of line color really triggers my OCD. Okay, fine. Alright. Okay, fine. There it is. But I'm not doing anywhere else. That's it. Alright, let's continue. So that's the bra. So that the flat collar would be that. Then the skin tone. Let me actually select here. The skin tone would be obviously like a peachy color. So something like in the light it would be something like that. I'm trying to, oh, there you go, I found it. I'm trying to look for it. So this has no shadow. I think the bra actually needs to be just a little brighter too. Like lighter, I mean. There you go. And of course this has no shadows, which is good for you to see how not very contrasty this area is until we add shadows, of course, because they're very bright colors. Obviously, when we turn this black and white, we can see that the arm guard and the shorts are definitely darker, but the way they rendered is going to be in a very soft manner as well. But I'd say main thing is going to be the color that makes it look soft, as I was saying, and which is going to lead me into the third point on why does his work look have that soft feeling, which it's obviously the render. The main thing that you probably are gonna notice after her personality is most likely the render. So that's let's focus on that. Hi Seamer. So I'm gonna make a new layer, clip that layer to what we painted, and I'm gonna set it to multiply, as you would know. Grab a soft brush like so, and I would say that even in shadows, the shadows could be warm. Now I feel like there's two separations here actually for the bra and the boobies. It seems like he didn't use only one. Yeah, he didn't. So I can tell based on just, there you go. For the bra, he actually used a colder tone. So I think it's still warm. There you go. It's still warm, so it's like a pink for the shadows. As you can tell, it matches pretty closely. So it's a colder version of warm color, if that makes sense, which is pretty much purples, pinks, and all that is the colder side of warm colors and tend to be that. For the bra side, at least, seems that's the case. Maybe a little bit more towards pink, actually. And I would recommend you know what, I would actually recommend going with a hard, so think of it as a cell shaded, you're cell shading it first, actually. Ignore the soft, you know what, I'll even erase, there you go. Ignore my initial test, which is a soft brush. Definitely I would do it with a hard round brush first, and then you could manually go in there and render if you want to. I personally would like to use I like to use my smudge tool, which we can get the look rather quickly, and you can get the brushes on my DeviantArt, the smudge tool brushes. I'm just using the round smudge tool brushes like so. So you can get this. I need a sharp eraser. You can get this gradient to it on the bra, right? Now there's a little bit more to it, and it's very subtle. Now at the edge of the shadow, this is something you won't notice initially, but at the edge, I'll overemphasize here. At the other edge of the shadows, there's a very faint darker outline that actually emphasizes the volume of even though, like, if I turn this black and white, there's barely any like value to it. Like, it's not very there's not a lot of shadow to it, you know. That will actually help. Let me color pick this color here again. There we go. This will actually help the form, even though it's a cell shaded picture, pretty much. Now, how would you do that? Most people would just like, oh, I'm gonna lower down my color and I'm gonna paint over like that, which you definitely can. Here's the thing: I'm gonna bring the layers over so you can see what I'm about to do. The layer that you have clipped, so this is my shadow layer, you can actually lock the transparency of that. So you click on it, and now when I paint, see what happened? See what happened? You're learning? Huh? This is why you watch, chat. Now guess what you can do very easily. You can do very easily what I just said, which is here at the edge, blap, blap, and you're fucking done. You see? And you do the same here, and you do the same here. It's like magic. There you go. And the opposite is true. She has a little bit of a, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of a gradient, a brighter gradient here. I'm actually going to increase the brightness, and I'm going to give it a glow at the bottom. And there's a very, very fine outline around the, right here, like kind of like a rim light under the boob. It's actually in a lot of places you'll notice. There's a little bit here. There's a little bit there. Right here. You see. And there's a bit of a gradient here at the tops too, and on the edges as well. So this is a super easy way to get that look. There you go. 365 layers. I mean, this is a PSD for the Silva Decodes segment, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm keeping most of the answers in a PSD. Would you guys actually want the PSDs of the Silva Decodes, chat? And by chat, I mean my fellow subscribers. Would you actually want all of them? All right, let me know. Hell yeah, sure. I don't have every single question on this PSD, but I have most of it. Why not? Okay, sure. Let's continue. So that's just the bra side. Now you can guess that with the rest you can do pretty much the same. I will go ahead and I'm gonna select this area, and I'll make a new layer. I'll repeat the process. New layer, multiply. I'm gonna make sure that my selection is in there, and I'm gonna make sure that my shadow, oh, there you go. So I got there pretty close. Let's make it a bit more, yeah, more saturated. There you go. So for this one, it would be exactly the same. Hard brush. You draw the shape of the shadow first, or I would do that. There you go. And then once you're sort of like happy with it, there you go. Once you're happy with it, I would use my smudge brush, but you can do it by you can blend in by hand, it's fine. And sort of like soften up in areas where the places that you want to soften up tend to be in the how can I explain this in a very simple manner, because explaining light or form is not short. It's you can't do it very short, but pretty much you wanna blend, or you wanna make it rounder where you want the least contrast, and an area seems to be pretty round. Now you would say, oh, but her titties, we should just like soften everything. You lose a bit of the, if you were to do that, you lose a little bit of the contrast in the shadows, making it like appear flat, as opposed to round, which is what you want, right? At least for the bamboozle bambles, you know? So you want to actually soften up in only a few areas, but not everywhere. You want a little bit of a hard edge, because that helps the look. In order for something to look soft, you need some hardness to it. So that's why you always want to keep certain edges in there, so that whatever you make soft, actually it emphasizes its softness, right? You need a little bit of soft. You need a little bit of hardness to make things look soft. Because if everything looks hard or everything looks soft, then it loses its impact, is what I'm saying. So there's a little bit of edge here, and it seems like that's what the artist has done. I will go ahead with a normal brush, with a normal soft brush, and kind of like glaze over very gently at the edges here. And it's exactly the same step as we've done for the bra. So I'll just round this up a little bit, and then I'm gonna erase it, giving it that brighter edge, just like you see on the under boob. It's very faint, but it's in there in the picture. And in fact, a lot of cell shaded imagery, like anime, tends to have this. It's super subtle, but it's easy to miss, I'd say. Give a little bit of glow here, making it a bit brighter. And there's one last thing to do, which is the specular highlight on her boobie. So there's a little like, actually I'll use a hard brush for this one. There's a little like little shine in there, you know. So oh, we're not done. I almost forgot my own step. So we need to give it a dark border again. So what we do is we what is this called again? I forgot. Lock transparency. Yeah. So we lock the transparency and we give it a little darker edge to the shadow in there, right? Because let's make it a little colder, because it seems like it goes a bit towards the purples in there. So we're gonna give it a bit of a glow like that, and same goes to the edge, just a little bit here too. There you go. And make it a little darker towards the end. And once again, we erase some of it to we erase some of it to show that sort of shine. There you go. I may have overdone it a bit on mine, but you get the point here too. So there you go. That is how you render you do the soft feeling. This answers the question pretty much. See you on the next video. If you're watching this on the video, follow me on all social media, John Silva Art, Twitter, everything else, and see you on the next one. Bye.